Good morning, DFC, and welcome back to another lesson in grade 11 entrepreneurship. Today, we're going to be looking at two important concepts called unit of sale and variable costs. And we're going to use those today to calculate what's called gross profit per unit for our venture idea. So hopefully by this point in the course, you have an idea of a business that you'd like to pursue throughout the rest of the course to make a business plan for, because you'll need to know that for today's lesson. As usual, please watch today's video in its entirety. I'll be explaining a lot today because this is a more unusual lesson than you guys are accustomed to. I have the news article of the day here and a short video for you guys to watch about the life in, basically a day in the life of an entrepreneur, and she is a DJ. So even being a DJ is a form of entrepreneur. Today's textbook reading can be found here. It's just 2 short pages. But a unit of sale is just one of whatever you're selling to your customers. For example, one product, one package, or 1 hour of service. So if your business is shoveling snow, your unit of sale will be 1 driveway shoveled. If you're babysitting, it could be 1 hour of babysitting service. Or if you're walking pets, it could be 1 hour of dog walking. So unit of sale is simply one of whatever you're selling. If you make arts and crafts, your unit of sale could be, say, 1 dream catcher, if you're making dream catchers. If you're baking cakes, your unit of sale is 1 cake. That's it. Now, variable cost, this is a cost that changes depending on the number of units or products or services sold. So you can find variable costs are 2 things. They are materials and they are labor. Labor means work. Now I'm going to go into more detail about them, but think about if your business is baking a cake, the more cakes you bake, the more labor it will take to put all the ingredients together and to work the oven, but also the more materials you'll use up. So that's your flour, eggs, sugar, milk, all your cake ingredients. So variable costs are your materials plus labor. So variable costs, the more you make of an item, the higher your variable costs will be. So if you bake 50 cakes instead of 5 cakes, your variable costs will go up 10 times because you're simply producing more, you're using more labor and more materials. Next is gross profit. So we want to find out how much money you're making on each item. And to know that, you need to know your variable costs, which are materials plus labor, and you subtract them from your price. And I'll go into some examples here. So let's look at today's assignment. I want you to start off by writing down the definition of these 2 items, and you can find that in the text. And then write down the formulas for them. And if you're not sure what the formulas are, variable cost is right here. Gross profit is right here. All right, so I have an example right here. It's not recognizing in the Canadian spelling of labor. So here is a business idea. Nadine makes necklaces. Nadine is just a made-up person. Now I've listed her variable costs and the cost of each item. And let's look how much it costs to make 1 necklace. So 30 beads at 20 cents each. So what you do is you take this number and multiply it by this number, the dollar amount. So 30 times 0.2 is $6. 1 times $1 is, well, obviously $1. 2 times 50 cents is, well, $1 as well. And now her labor. It takes her an hour to make these necklaces. And as per law, the minimum she can charge for her labor is $14.25. So we don't times, I should say, let's do 1 hour. So 1 hour times 14.25 is simply 14.25. Now, if we add up all these together, it will cost her $22.25. So those are her total variable costs. That includes her materials and labor. That's how much it costs Nadine to make a necklace. And what is her biggest cost by far? It's not the beads, it's not the strings or the clasp. It is by far her own work. Now, question 4 asks you, what would be a good selling price for Nadine to sell her necklaces in order to earn a profit? For example, if she sold them for $20, would she make a profit? No. She'd actually lose $2.25 for each necklace that she made. So in other words, we want to make her selling price larger than her total variable costs. Say, let's make it $30. So how much profit would that get her? That's what question 5 asks. Remember, gross profit equals selling price minus total variable costs. So that is $30 minus $22.25. And that equals $7.75. So if she charges $30 per necklace, $7.75 will be her profit. So that excludes the cost it takes to make her necklace. If she charges $35, watch what happens to your gross profit now. It becomes $12.75. And if she increases that to, say, $40, $17.75. So you can see what happens to your profit as your price goes up. Price goes up, so does profit. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. But question 6 asks you to figure out the bulk cost. So this is how much it costs to make 15 or 20 necklaces. I'd like you to put the cost here and tell me how much it costs to make 20 necklaces and then finally 1 necklace. So just take this number and divide by 20. So 15, 13, 12, 10, and then labor is simply 15 hours times 14.25. And then we simply just add the other costs together. And then we want to take this number, divide by 20 to find out how much it costs to make each necklace. So if we look up here, to make 1 necklace, buying the materials singularly, it costs $22.25 to make a necklace. When she buys her items in bulk, in increments of 20 necklaces, so she's buying 600 beads at a time, 20 strings, 40 clasps, 20 packages. Her total variable cost is much less. So that means it's better for her to buy her materials in bulk than it is for her to buy in small amounts. She's actually making more profit because now she sells for $30. So $30 minus $13.75 is $16.25. So now she's making a lot more in profit per necklace. So lowering your total variable costs is another way to increase your profits. So two ways to increase profit are you increase the selling price or you decrease your total variable costs. Those are the two ways. And that will help you answer question 8. Question 9, or a question that should help you answer question number 7. Question 8 is, I want you to just tell me what is your unit of sale. So if your business is, say, tutoring service, it could be 1 hour of tutoring. That's simple. Or if it's baking a cake or making cookies, could be 1 dozen cookies. You're selling cookies by the dozen. That could be your unit of sale. Next, I want you to recreate this chart. But instead of doing it for Nadine's necklaces, you're doing it for your business idea. So let's go with 1 dozen cookies. All right, do I know the ingredients for cookies? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, what goes into cookies? I haven't made them in a while, so I do not know. Okay, we got these ingredients. Good to know. So chocolate chips, butter, flour, sugar, and you can add or delete rows as you need. You just simply right click, and I want to insert, keep inserting rows. Eggs, baking soda, and baking powder. Okay. Vanilla. Okay, so I listed, oh, also, let's not forget the most important part. Cookies don't take long to make. At $14.25. So what I want to do is I want to take the minimum wage, $14.25 per hour, and divide that by 3 since it only takes me 20 minutes. So $14.25 divided by 3 is now it's really important here that you just estimate your costs. So I want you to make your best educated guess. Now, our labor is going to cost some money, but our other ingredients won't. So it could be 10 cents or maybe 20 cents for chocolate chips. Butter is maybe 10 cents. Flour, eggs, like the other vanilla could be, I'm only using a very small amount. That should be, there's sugar, a very small amount. Eggs are very cheap. Now, I don't know the exact cost of these. All I'm doing is just making estimates. Flour, maybe 10 cents. So now I'm just going to add up all these costs. Plus 475. So with my materials and labor, it'll cost me $5.40 to make these cookies, to make 1 dozen cookies. Now let's think of how much I could sell them for. If I sold them for $10, I can then find out my gross profit per unit. Selling price minus total variable costs gets me $4.60. So I know this seems tricky and foreign, but for this part, just give your best estimate. Now I'm going to show you something really easy depending on your business. Now say if your business is shoveling snow, say charging by the hour, say 1 hour at minimum wage, $14.25, and maybe use some road salt too, maybe like say 10 cents worth, something very cheap. Your total variable costs you're not using many variable costs, right? And say I charge $25 an hour. That'll be $10.75. And then I can just delete these rows as necessary. Or say if you're tutoring, you are not going to have any other variable costs. It'll simply be your labor, and then you just figure out your selling price. So it's hard to tell you what to write because everyone will have different business ideas. But if you do need help, please sign on to Google, come into the meet, and let me know that you need help, and then we can create this chart together. I can help you out. But it's just really important to estimate, that's this keyword here, estimate the per unit cost. If you don't have to get it down to the exact cent, I was just estimating by 5 and 10 cents for the cookie example. All right. So hopefully that answers any questions that you do have. And here's a self-assessment that I'd like you to do afterward. If you know what the terms unit of sale, variable cost, and gross profit mean, check that off. If you know the formulas for calculating variable cost and gross profit, if you calculated the total per unit cost in Nadine's business idea for her necklaces, and if you calculated the gross profit per unit for your business idea, check all those off and give yourself a mark out of 4. So if you've met all 4, give yourself a mark out of 4 out of 4. All right, so this is a little tricky because now you're talking about your business idea and money is involved, estimating. But if you have any questions, please come visit me in Google Meet. All right, everyone, have a great day and I hope to see you online. Bye.